Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today, depending on who you are, I have an extremely exciting unboxing and a little presentation video to share with you guys. Thank you so much to Kunwu for sending this extremely cool and honestly really unexpected project. I guess this is technically a pre-production sample, but to my knowledge, no different than what we'll be releasing fairly soon. Thank you so much for sending this to me and allowing me to share this with everybody. Thank you so much to my patrons for supporting me. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex and on TikTok at _metal_complex. The world of pocket knives and the world of watches is two incredibly different worlds. However, just like, with many other groups, there's lots of different like hobby groups or enthusiast communities that sort of cross over. Watches and knives are fairly often crossed over, right? Now you got some pretty hardcore watch guys, right? I think that gets quite a bit more extensive than pocket knives. I am not. I am a humble tourist when it comes to watches. I definitely dive a lot deeper into knives, but I enjoy watches on a surface level. I own 13 or so, but I am 100% a tourist. So you will not be getting any crazy scientific, super in-depth information. You're going to get a lot of oohs and ahs and how cool is this kind of thing. But I would like to describe what you're about to see as a watch that is made for knife people. And it's going to make a lot of sense here. I've already been into it. I've already been wearing it. This absolutely beautiful, beautiful baby is the Kunwu Nanhai. And I am 100% certain that I mispronounced that. So sorry about that, Sergio. He can jump down in the comments and correct me. This is currently in Kickstarter phase, which I will link down in the description. I feel like they're doing really, really well. So I think in Sergio's own words, it's going to happen one way or another, whether it gets funded or not. I believe this is a passion project. And when he told me the price tag, that makes a lot of sense, right? It's a lot less expensive than I ever would have guessed. But what's cool about this is that it is, oh God, this is absolutely a watch made for knife guys. So this is an automatic, I'm going to call it a dive watch, right? Watch guys are just going to be cringing left and right. That's perfectly okay. But what we have here is an automatic dive watch that is mirror polished DLC. Yeah, that's true DLC. When we're looking at like the clasp and the band, I mean, it is truly mirror polished, and the case, everything. And this particular version has a Damascus bezel. That makes me so happy for so many different reasons. There's a lot of people who look at this and say that's not for me, and that's perfectly fine. You know what's great is I didn't realize this until I saw this picture, but it looks like it's going to come in like a regular stonewash with the Damascus. You can get the mirror black with the Damascus, or what I am sure will be a very popular option is just mirror black, mirror black. This looks absolutely stunning. I know a lot of you want to know what is the movement. Apparently it is a Sellita SW200. That means absolutely nothing to me, as I am still learning. I am still very much on the surface with my little boat, my little rowboat, my little fishing rod. Like, I'm out here learning, that's me 100%. But my goodness, does this look good? I believe this is a 41. It does not wear nearly as big as some of my larger watches. You guys know I own a Tudor Pelagos. I own, what's another gigantic one, I guess, that I could show you guys? I own the Seiko Turtle. I mean, gigantic as far as like these types of watches go, right? Obviously, there are much larger watches. I own the Seiko Sumo, and even the Marine Master 300, which is definitely a hulking watch. This does not wear nearly as big. It's actually pretty comfortable. This tapers a little bit. I'm trying to think of all the little things that watch people want to see. It is a milled clasp, which is very cool. Something that I love. Sergio, you are so awesome for doing this, because I mod all of my Seikos, all of them, with the diver's extension, or whatever you want to call it, the ratchet extension, right? I don't dive. I mean, the closest that this thing's going to see to diving is going out in the rain for a second to get to like run the dumpster to the curb. That's as close as it's going to get. But I do love my automatic watches. You guys know that all of the watches that I own are in the general field of like automatic dive watches. That's just kind of where I've chosen to go. I also am a huge fan of the metal bracelets. I don't, I've tried many times to go with like a leather strap and I just don't like it. And every time I say that, I get a flood of people saying, you got to try this, you got to try this. Maybe one day, it's like I always say, you won't until you will. Maybe one day I will. But for now, I'm still enjoying the metal here. But man, that mirror polish and actual DLC coating on the, I think this is 316. Oh, I hope I got that right. 316. Does it say? Actually, here's a whole bunch of specs. A lot of you are like, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and listen to you yak on, bud. I'm just going to look at the specs. Yeah, the specs, the stats. I mean, sure. Yeah, that word fits. But I really enjoy this. And I honestly also really enjoy the face here. They've kept it very, very simple. I think I obviously need to wind it. The thing is not going. I just realized that. Sorry. But we'll get this going here. And I don't know what the power reserve is on it. But probably, it might have like a fairly short power reserve. I'll take a look at that card here in just a second and see. Does it actually say? No, I guess, but whatever the movement normally has. But I'll let you guys look there at the second hand. I also really enjoy the markers. I like that we have the date window. No Cyclops, I guess, is what you guys normally call it. Everything is perfectly lined up. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful. I think the glass is also sapphire. Let you guys look there at the back. It has pins. It does not have screw down links. I always love to see the screw down links. I had to add my wrist. I'm not sure exactly what size of wrist I have, but I had to add a link on both sides for my wrist. But with it being a 41, it is smaller than what I normally wear. Again, watch people will really cringe at me because I'm definitely not like in style. And as a knife guy, I don't care too much, but I normally wear a 42 to, I guess, a 45 are some of my biggest. I know that like big watches are not like, they're not cool. Like you can't be in the cool club if you like big watches. So, oh, darn. But this actually really works for me. And I think the appearance of it, I mean, the mirror polishing is so cool. And I'm a huge fan of Damascus. You guys know I own many knives that have titanium Damascus frames. And I just love that material. It will mark up. If you wear this, if this is a daily driver, obviously the ano will fade over time. That's okay with me. I just think it's really, really cool. And so, not completely unique. This is not the only watch ever that's had a Damascus bezel. There are even watches out there that have Damascus cases. And it's also not the only watch, as I learned yesterday, to have a DLC mirror polished, bracelet and case and all of this with a DLC coating. There's actually companies that have done that before, but I've never seen it. And the fact that the base price of this, because if you're like me, you were thinking this watch is going to cost at least $1,000. No, he said that the base price for these is going to be about $700, and that's for this. I said, well, what's the price for the mirror DLC and Damascus one? He said $700, right around there. So that's, if you're like me, that's pretty amazing, right? Watches get horrifically expensive. So I thought that was pretty cool. I've only worn this for about a day. So you might be wondering, if you're like, what does this amateur, what is this like knife tuber, but amateur watch person think about this watch? For the 7 of you wondering that, what do I think? I think it's incredibly cool, right? I mean, I'm still like the new, I'm like the kid on Christmas. So like every new watch to me is really, really exciting and cool. But my only criticism is that it's kind of hard to get at the bezel to rotate it. I mean, we don't have much. I mean, the clicks sound great, right? And yes, I am going to show you the Lume. The clicks sound great, but man, it's a little hard. Unless you get your fingernail into one of these little notches right there, it is a little bit tricky to get a hold of that. I kind of wish that this was wider, like outside of the case slightly. And I also wish, and this is just me, personal styling, it probably doesn't work super well with this style of watch, but I always like a coined edge. That makes it a little easier to get a hold of. But the clickiness is absolutely there, and it's very, very satisfying, right? And the lume is also pretty darn bright. All right, here we go. Let's charge her up a little bit. Sorry, I couldn't find this thing. It took me a second. I think probably the best idea while I'm charging this up is to make sure that this initial light's turned off so that when I turn on the secondary, or turn off the secondary light, you guys can actually see it. Just trying to get a really, really good charge up here. Make sure that all of it is there. And then let's go ahead and turn that off. Oh, yeah. Green, not blue. I always like to see the blue or the turquoise or whatever. But I do like that he did essentially everything, including, the minute, the hour hand, all the markers, and then outside on the bezel, too. That is pretty cool. Now, I don't know how long this lasts or how long it's supposed to last. We're getting into specs that are different. Sorry, this thing has like all the different lights. We're getting into specs that I'm not like super professional about. But as far as uniqueness, right? I do like the design. I do like, me having handled my grand total of like 15 different dive watches. I do like this. I think it's really cool. And I think that Sergio knows that this is a watch that, checks some boxes for some watch people, but it's mostly, I feel like, towards those people who specifically are watch people, maybe casual watch people who like some shiny stuff, and also knife people. And speaking of knives, I mean, what better knife to couple this particular watch with than, my own design? Look at this opportunity to plug not only more Kunwu products, but my own design, which is with Kunwu, the Excalibur, which has the shiny black DLC and the Timascus pivot collar. Wow, what a match made in heaven. Oh my goodness. Why not pick up both? You do whatever you want. But the pre-orders for my knife are not open yet, but this, and I don't think the pre-orders, obviously with this being a Kickstarter, there's nothing open for this yet, but really cool. What a spectacular thing. I am just a huge fan of this. So I wanted to share it with you guys. You will see this a lot. You'll see me wearing it during reviews. You'll see me wearing it during live streams. I'm a huge fan of this. So anyways, once again, that is the Nanhai, which I am certain that I'm mispronouncing. But I hope you guys enjoyed this today. That's going to be pretty much it. I do not review watches. I'm not qualified to do that. So you won't be getting a full review on it, but you certainly will see me wear it. So anyways, thanks so much for watching today. Check out the Kickstarter linked in the description. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do of course have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.